How do you subtly f with people? In high school computer lab, I would always quickly turn off my computer monitor when my teacher would come around the corner and go, "Oh shit," and he would make me turn it back on to see what I was doing, and it would always just be the spreadsheet or whatever it was I was working on, and he would demand to know what I was doing that I had to hide. This went on for weeks, and then one day, while at the computer, I see out of my peripherals this little Asian man, my teacher, slowly sneaking up beside my desk on his hands and knees trying to get a look at my screen. All I could see was the top of his head. My mom was doing the toothpaste tube roll-up thing and was amazed at how long the tube was lasting. What she didn't know was that my dad was constantly squeezing more toothpaste into it just to f with her. They are in their 70s. When someone is a close talker, I like to take small steps backwards to see how far across the room I can get them to walk. I plugged a wireless mouse into my coworker's computer. Once in a while, I'd give it a little wiggle from a few cubes away. He is sure management is watching his screen. Take notes. This works brilliantly with angry customers, but even better with your boss. When you're faced with a meeting with your supervisor, especially one where they feel like they're in a power position, take a notepad with you and take notes of everything they say. Instantly ruins their power trip by making them question everything they say. My union representative at an old job used this trick to stop them from firing me illegally. The killer? He didn't even write anything. His pen ran out on the first word. He just sat and faked it the whole time. I was at a fair once, couple years back, and there was a performer who'd wander around the grounds, with a short length of roughed wine in his hand. Now and then he'd stop, hold the string up and inspect it carefully, then continue walking. He always held it as though it were a visible segment of a string with an invisible balloon on it. After spotting him wandering around several times, I finally got up the cadence to ask him what he was doing. Without a word, he nods enthusiastically, picks up my hand, and very carefully places the string into my hand, ensuring my fingers have a good grasp on it. Then he turned me, so he was standing behind my shoulder, and lifted my arm up. He checked it a couple times, made some small adjustments, then turned and walked away, leaving me standing in the middle of a crowded walkway, holding a 3-inch length of string up in the air, all by myself. I felt like an idiot, yep. But I kept that string. Tied it to my camera bag. Not super subtle, but a guy told me I looked really familiar and asked if we met before. You look familiar, have we met or something? Nope. Weird, you look really familiar. Odd, do you watch a lot of porn? The look on his face was fucking priceless. I like to think that now whenever he watches porn, he is looking for me. To make it funnier, I'm a dude. I've been slowly increasing the mouse sensitivity on both of my roommates' computers. In 2 weeks I'm going to put them back to the default and pretend like mine is slow too. I'm interested to see the conclusion that they will come to. When I'm ordering from a fast food place or a Starbucks, when they ask for my name, I'll respond with the name of the person taking my order regardless of gender. They'll usually kind of give you a sideways look of confusion, and I just continue making eye contact, dead serious. It makes for a great response considering I'm a smaller Asian girl claiming my name is George. That guy definitely kept glancing over at me as if I was going to suddenly change into a man. When you're talking to someone, instead of looking at their face, look at their ear. When meeting people for the first time, I say, "Nice seeing you again." Sometimes they'll go along with it so they don't appear rude for not remembering me. Other times they respond, "Yeah, nice see I wait, what?" I asked a guy at work if he'd ever got that creepy deja vu feeling. A week later, I did it again. Edit. Holy crap, My highest voted comment ever. A lot of you have been asking for more details, so here goes. It was years ago, when I was a bartender at a big sports bar open till 3 a.m. I worked the bar in the back, which would close earlier, around 2:30, and, let's say, Chris worked in the kitchen, which would close even earlier. At the end of the night, I would go to the main bar in time for last call for a beer, before leaving for the 4 a.m. bar to unwind, and Chris would be at the bar playing the bar top touchscreen game. He'd go through a rotation of different games, and I'd sit nearby with my beer. That's when I said, "Hey, Chris, you ever get that creepy deja vu feeling?" He said, "Yeah, sometimes." It was a Saturday night Sunday morning when I said it, and it was a Saturday night Sunday morning when I said it again. During the same game, his finger fell an inch short of the screen on his next move because his eyes had unfocused. I think he blew a fuse. And, yes, I was wearing the same outfit when I said it. We were all dressed in uniform. The autocorrect in Word can be customized. I tend to use it to automatically correct to account and so on, gain access to someone else's computer and make increasingly bizarre alterations. Rotate my friend's TV a little to the left each time I visit. I play a lot of billiards. Every once in a while you will run into the guy that likes to distract you during your shot. It is quite possibly the most irritating thing that I will experience in the game, but I usually don't say anything because they are entitled to play however they choose as long as they aren't physically touching the table, balls or myself. In order to get back at them I wait until it is their turn, make sure that I am in their field of vision while keeping my distance from the table to make it clear that I respect their shot, and then at the exact moment they shoot I will quickly look up at the television or something. I only do this against those types of players, and it usually has a larger impact than their tactics. My coworker has one of those framed postcard-size motivational posters on his desk. I photocopied it one weekend while catching up on extra paperwork. I then photoshopped SpongeBob surfing into the background. Days went by and he never noticed, so I changed the quote as well. Still didn't notice. Now I add one new thing each week. Everyone in the office knows, and they all chuckle when near his desk. Visitors give him odd looks, but he's so freaking oblivious. I can't wait to see how long I can stretch this out. My wife used to play a couple of computer puzzle games, Win 95 vintage, and was quite proud of beating my high scores. What she didn't realize was the high score table was a plain text file in the directory, so every time she beat my score, I edited the file to put myself on top again. She would play for days trying to top me, lol. Edit. I don't think I ever told her directly, and frankly, I ain't gonna mention it now, but I screwed up editing the table once by not moving down all the scores, and she noticed the anomaly and got suspicious. Okay, this is late to the party, but here's mine. There's this guy who sits opposite me who is a salesman and a bit of a tough talker. Think of a mix of Hank Schrader from Breaking Bad and Dwight Schrute from The Office, toned down a bit. One day, after a great series of sales, he notices that whenever he makes a sale, this 50-cent coin he has on his desk is standing on its side. Australian 50c coins have 12 flat sides. Whenever he loses a sale, the coin is sitting face down. This becomes his lucky coin, and he is very protective of it. It must be standing on its side at all times. For whatever reason, I decide to subtly with his coin. Every day for about 3 weeks I get to work early and add another identical 50c coin to his desk, right next to his lucky coin. I get to about 15 coins all up. What made this funny for me is that he just had no way of dealing with it. This big tough guy would come in every day and see this small army of coins standing to attention on the side of his desk. He would stare at them perplexed for a few moments, not knowing what to do. He wouldn't ever talk about it and just go to work awkwardly surrounded by coins. I don't know why, but I found this really funny. Eventually I got bored, so started adding googly eyes to them and making them into little tableaus. Here's the small one I found on my phone. When someone is talking to you, stop them mid-sentence and say, "Have you been crying?" Holding the door open for them while they are an awkward distance away. I worked at a call center for a while and would get anger from people. Some would cut me off at every chance I had to explain something. Those who had that sort of attitude, I would just sit there and listen. When they were done talking, there would be an awkward pause. Sometimes, I would start in with an, "Okay sir mom, I understand what you're trying to tell me," but if I really hated the person, I would let them initiate the conversation. They would ask if I was still on the line, and I would reply, "Oh yes, I'm right here, I just wanted to let you speak and wait until you were done. You can keep on speaking, I'll listen." This would confuse the hell out of them and calm them down a bit. From there, I could regain the conversation. The bathroom at work is outside the work area, only part of a floor, in a common area, and has one of those 12,345 press button locks on it. The code is 321. When I go in and notice someone a short distance behind me, I'll do 321, open, 1. That way, the person behind me enters the precise slow and calculated 3, 2, 1, gets denied. I hear them jiggle the handle while I'm pissing and I smile on the inside only. I like to walk at the same speed as total strangers. One time in college I was walking home across campus after a night of drinking. This guy walking behind me eventually caught up to me and started to pass, but instead of letting him pass me, I sped up to keep pace. We walked next to each other without saying a word for the next 2 minutes. He then started slowing down, so I started slowing down. Then he sped up, so I sped up. Then he finally turns to me and says, "Are you *****ing with me?" I burst out laughing and said yes and let him walk the rest of the way home without me. A fun thing, when someone is walking behind you and you turn a corner, sprint as far as you can before they turn the corner. Before you went around the corner, you were like 20 feet ahead. When they turn around the corner and see you, you'll be like 100 feet ahead and look like you teleported. When people ask me a question like, "What time is it?" I usually say, "Yeah, I think so." Then when they say, "No, what time is it?" I follow that up with, "Probably." You gotta sell it. It's gotta sound genuine. People get annoyed so fast. Okay, hopefully someone sees this because I think it's pretty funny. Well, my roommate is kind of a lazy dick. He does not wake up to his alarm in the morning, which is especially annoying because he sets it 3-4 hours earlier than he needs to get up, even though he just snoozes it 7-8 times a morning. My roommate also has this really annoying tone set on his phone when his girlfriend texts him, which is every 5 minutes. It's the Power Rangers theme, but to me sounds more like Kim Possible's beeper. Well, a few weeks ago I noticed that he would wholeheartedly ignore his alarm in the morning, but when his girlfriend texted him, he would magically wake up instantly. So I installed the ringtone on my phone and wake him up at random times throughout the night with it. He wakes up, checks his phone, looks confused and sometimes even calls his girlfriend. I laugh my ass off every damn time.